This is the newest iteration of the Tassimo single-serve brewer in the T line. What kind of temperature we're getting out of our coffee, because I've seen the Tassimo machines get about the hottest of almost any of the single-serve machines that I have used. Now, another major improvement on the T55 over the other Tassimo machines is the actual brew basket. Each cup of coffee or whatever beverage you might happen to be making is very consistent. However, you can now adjust the size of your cup a little bit. Really, overall, a pretty great machine. Hey everyone, I'm Brian with Aromacup.com. Thanks as always for joining me here in my virtual coffee shop brought to you by Aromacup.com. In today's video, I have an overview for you of the Tassimo T55 single-serve brewer from Bosch. This is the newest iteration of the Tassimo single-serve brewer in the T line, and we're going to show you all the different options on this new machine, tell you about some of the differences, and of course, brew some coffee. So let's dive right in and talk about the Tassimo T55 single-serve brewer. First, let's talk about what's in the box with the T55. There's not too much that you're going to find. Of course, you have your T55 brewer, and this is it directly out of the box right here. You can see it's got these instructions. They're kind of placed underneath the brew spigot right there. And on the back side, you're going to find, if you remove the water tank, you're going to see that you have a water filter right here. Now, you're probably going to notice that there's no T-discs included in this box. The reason for that is, in order to get free T-discs, you have to register your T55 with Bosch. So you can still get some free T-discs, but you need to register your machine with them in order to get those. So that's what's in the box for the T55. Let's dive in and start talking about the features on this machine. All right, let's talk about the features of the Tassimo T55. We'll start at the bottom with the tray, as we always do. Now, the tray is adjustable for its height. You can simply use this little handle to turn it left or right, and that way you can accommodate for larger or smaller mugs. Now, you can also remove the tray. This one takes a little bit of gusto to really get it off, and you got to really work to pull it out of there. But once it's gone, you can use very large tumblers, which is great. And then you can simply pop it back on. Again, like I say, you kind of got to really go for it to get this one on. But at least you know it's not going to go anywhere. You got your power button just to the left of the tray right here. And then as you move up, you have your actual brew button. Now, one of the new innovations here on this machine over the previous ones, Tassimo, we've always talked about how there's just one singular button for brewing, and that's still true. However, you can now adjust the size of your cup a little bit. There's these cup icons just above and below the brewing button, and when you are ready to brew, you will see small plus and minus signs light up below these. If you activate those by pressing the button towards the plus or the minus sign, you're going to add more water to your brew, or you're going to brew a shorter cup of coffee, which is going to give you, of course, a stronger brew. Now, as we move up here, we have a small screen which just gives us a few different indicators for what's going on the machine, tells us when it's ready to brew. There's also a light that will come on when it's time to put some water in your water tank, and also a light that will come on when it is time to descale your machine as well. So cool indicators right there, very easy to read, as opposed to some of the older machines where you just kind of had to tell by a color code or something like that. It's a little bit easier. Now, another major improvement on the T55 over the other Tassimo machines is the actual brew basket. You're going to notice that to open it, I flip this lever up right here and then pop open the brew basket. And now my T-disc sits inside of here. Now, this machine still uses the intelligent barcode technology. There's a barcode reader right here in the basket. It reads the T-disc, and that barcode tells the machine exactly how to brew that T-disc. So that is still there, but what is very different here is that you're actually going to lock down that brew basket by making use of that lever on the front of the machine. So this is very different because one of the things that was happening recently was that Tassimo had released machines with a sort of retainer ring here where your T-disc goes, and you had to pop that before you could be able to actually take the T-disc out, and it's a little more work. So this is definitely the most sleek design they've ever had, and it's going to make sure that that T-disc stays in there and you get the best possible pressure when you're brewing. We'll of course talk about using T-discs in just a few moments. Let's talk about the water tank, which sits right here on the back of the unit. It's a 47-ounce water tank, And it's real easy to remove, which I think is cool. You just simply slide it out at an angle, fill it up, and then you can pop it back in. So it's really easy to use, and it's fairly large, so you're not going to have to fill it too often, which is great. You're also going to find your cleaning tea disc just underneath the water tank, and this is very important. You want to make sure you don't lose these, because this is how you can brew hot water using the machine, and this is also how you actually go about cleaning and descaling your Tassimo machine, so very important to hang on to that. Overall, the machine has a very low-profile design. I really like the design on this one. It's very simple and straightforward, and of course, very easy to use, so let's dive right in and talk about how to make use of the Tassimo T55. Brewing is very simple with the Tassimo T55. Open this lever and pop open the brew basket. Then you're going to take a tea disc. Tea discs are very different from a lot of the single-serve options we see in the single-serve coffee world. You're going to notice they have two barcodes on them. Those barcodes are going to actually tell the machine how to brew this tea disc. So all the work is done for you, essentially. I'm going to place that tea disc upside down in the machine. And this is another thing that's a little bit different over the previous Tassimo machines. The tea disc now just kind of sits with the handle facing towards you when you place it in the machine. Originally, they would sit kind of at an angle. It was a little different and maybe a little harder. Now you just slide it right in and you're good to go. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to close up the brew basket, and this punctures that tea disc, gets it ready to brew. Now, you notice that I do have maybe not the most optimal clearance here, so if I wanted to, I could pop my tray off. I'm just going to kind of slide my mug in. Now I'm ready to start brewing. Again, if I want to, I can select the option to add or subtract a little bit of water from the brew. And that just really depends on if that's something that I would like to do. If neither the plus nor the minus lights are glowing, I'm just simply going to brew a cup of coffee as is designated by the barcode technology in the T55 and on the barcode. So let's go ahead and start brewing. Just press the big silver button. Now, anytime you are brewing with the Tassimo machine, I always call them brew bots, you're going to hear the machine thinking a little bit. You press that button, you don't immediately hear pressure coming through the tea disc. The machine clicks a couple times, and that's because it's reading the barcode, and that gets it ready to actually brew your tea disc. Now, the good thing about this is that it really ensures that each cup of coffee or whatever beverage you might happen to be making is very consistent, because those barcodes tell the machine exactly how it's supposed to brew that beverage. So in this case, it knows that I am using this Havalia dark breakfast blend. And so what that means is that on that tea disc, there's actual specific instructions saying this is specifically how a cup of coffee should be brewed, making use of that tea disc inside of a Tassimo machine. Because those barcodes tell the machine exactly how it's supposed to brew that beverage. So in this case, it knows that I am using this Havalia dark breakfast blend. And so what that means is that on that tea disc, there's actual specific instructions saying this is specifically how a cup of coffee should be brewed, making use of that tea disc inside of a Tassimo machine. All right, and there's our cup of coffee out of the Tassimo T55. It's very quick. Brewing is pretty fast with these machines. And one thing I have to say is that the Tassimo machines really do make great cups of coffee. Now, if you did happen to want to add a little bit more water to your brew as soon as you were done, as soon as the machine had actually stopped brewing, you can hold this brew button down and continue to add water to your coffee. And you can also do that by pressing on the plus button right here that's just above it. And this will allow you to just kind of add a little bit, and then you can stop it by pressing on the minus button. So that's a quick way to be able to add a little bit more water to the machine. And now let's go ahead and also measure the temperature of what it is that we just made right here. We're going to grab our trusty thermometer and we'll drop this guy in, and let's see what kind of temperature we're getting out of our coffee, because I've seen the Tassimo machines get about the hottest of almost any of the single serve machines that I have used. We're at just about 170 degrees, and actually we're climbing even just a little bit. So that's pretty good. Somewhere between 170 to 175 degrees, that's actually really great out of a single serve machine, I think, because a lot of machines make promises that they can't exactly keep when it comes to the temperature that you're going to get out of the machine. So 170, 175 degrees is quite good, and let's taste the coffee as always. It's great. I've always really liked most every tea disc that I've gotten, and I've definitely drank a lot of coffee made from tea discs, and it's really easy to use. And of course, cleanup with these machines is real simple. You can just simply open up the brew basket, take your spent tea disc, and then do away with it. They're not reusable, and they're not really recyclable as well, which is unfortunate. And there is currently not a brew your own option for Tassimo machines. Let's talk about pricing on the Tassimo T55. You're looking about $169. That's the suggested retail price. Not too bad, especially for a machine that is a one-stop shop for a number of different beverages, and really all you need to do is pop a tea disc in, press a button, and start brewing. It's very quick and easy. So $169, not a bad price to dive into the world of single-serve coffee. All right, let's talk about the bottom line on the Tassimo T55 machine. Bottom line is the features are pretty great on this machine. It adds some new features over its predecessor, specifically those plus and minus buttons, which allow you to add a little more water to your beverage or dial it back and create a stronger beverage. That's a great thing. The barcode technology, of course, is still there, allowing you to make a tea disc really quickly and easily by making use of the T55. The overall size profile of the machine is great. It's not going to take up a lot of space on your countertop, which I really like. And of course, you have those lights that give you indications of what's going on in the machine while you are working with it. You have a water filter in your reservoir, which is also really nice. And really overall, a pretty great machine. I really like the Tassimo machines. Again, the only downside being you can't make your own coffee with them right now. There may be an option for that somewhere down the road, but at this time, there just very simply is not. However, at $169, not a bad way to get into the world of single-serve coffee. So there you go, guys. I hope that you found this useful. There's an overview of the Tassimo T55 single-serve brewer. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here in my virtual coffee shop, brought to you by Aromacup.com. I look forward to seeing you again next time, and as always, enjoy your cup. Take care.